We're home. Come on, let's go.
Jeff and Janine Glenda are the envy of Lake Placid.
They just had beautiful things, and I was always like, oh, that's so pretty.
And he's down!
We were spoiled kids.
Girls get to play as well.
I guess you could say we really had the life that any kid could hope for.
I think it's gonna rain.
But when dark temptations take hold,
What are you gonna do, Janine? You gonna leave?
they threaten to tear this family apart.
If I were to open a dictionary and look up mistress, I would see a portrait of Sherry.
And soon, jealousy and greed spiral out of control.
He knows exactly where you're going, who you're going to talk to.
Love may be blind and marriage bliss, but divorce is murder. The Adirondacks, upstate New York, a place with its own rugged kind of beauty and a proud sense of community. A place as lovely as 24-year-old Janine Ratcliffe.
She had dark brown eyes and dark curly brown hair, a lot of pizzazz, and a beautiful smile.
Olanzapine is very well tolerated. You shouldn't have any problems. Okay?
But Janine is more than just a pretty face. As a pharmacist, she enjoys helping those in her community.
She was well known because everyone knew the family. They were reputable people, they were nice people.
Having the bubbly personality that my mother had, she was very interested in the people that came in.
Hi.
It's here she falls for one of her favorite customers,
Do you need reading glasses?
Jeff Glenda.
No, but I do need my asthma prescription filled because you take my breath away.
That's really bad.
Okay, I better up my game. How about dinner and a movie? I hear Porky's is really good.
Oh, strike two. You know what? Take me to see The Thing, and we have a deal.
I think I'm in love.
He would see this smile and it drew him in, and he could get her laughing.
He was attractive, dark and handsome. He wore nice suits. He definitely would have fit her bill.
Okay, that was not for me.
Wasn't for me either.
The 31-year-old recently divorced court stenographer is quite the catch.
I'm gonna have nightmares for a week.
And Janine can't resist his charm.
It could get lonely out there in the middle of the night. If you ever need some company, I'm available.
I think what my mother saw in him was that he had this level of charisma, this level of confidence.
As far as their romance, they did things together. She did confide in me one time that he was very good in bed. I know she loved him.
2 years after they meet, the couple get married and settle down in Lake Placid, near the former Olympic Village.
It was ideal. That was a place for her.
When they moved to Lake Placid, it was kind of like they were riding a high.
All right.
After 8 years of marriage, Jeff and Janine have 2 young kids, Tyler and Jordan, who enjoy their parents' lavish lifestyle.
Yeah. Daddy needs a drink. Come on, let's go.
I think the first time I saw their house, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It was like, to me, it was huge. I was just like in awe of what they had. He drove a Mercedes, she drove an SUV. They just had beautiful things, and I was always like, oh, that's so pretty, Little jealousy.
Okay, kid, fourth down.
But their taste for the finer things in life doesn't take away from their main priority, spending time with family.
We always pretended that, we were the New York Giants.
And he's down.
Those are the happy memories that we had.
Girls get to play as well. There you go. Fourth down, sweetie.
She was the ideal mom. She wanted to be involved in everything. She wanted to see us be successful. She always made sure to show her affection and her love for us.
She wanted a nice home. She got that. She loved to travel. She liked to go on vacation. She wanted children. She thought this was going to be her lifelong dream.
It's all part of the flamboyant Glenda lifestyle.
As a court reporter, he was probably making somewhere right around $80,000 to $100,000 a year. But Jeff had very, very flashy, expensive tastes.
My father loved to look good. When he would get dressed in the morning, he'd pick out his tie, he had his jewelry. He was very much about image.
He wanted it known that he was somebody special, that people should notice him.
There was always some kind of showboat mentality to it, but nevertheless, we had fun. We were spoiled kids, I guess you could say. We really had the life that any kid could hope for growing up.
Jeff, extroverted and ambitious, is determined to make himself well known
Judge Hayes.
and well liked.
Judge Banda.
He was somebody who got along with everyone.
No, it's no trouble. I have my plow ready to go.
He was a very well-liked individual.
See you in 15 minutes.
But just how far will Jeff go to be a people pleaser?
It's Judge Hayes. You want me to say no?
Yeah. Say no.
Come on, Janine.
In Lake Placid, they get a lot of snow, and he would plow his friends' places
Don't be mad.
before he'd get his own family plowed out.
I'll just work out my frustrations with the shovel.
He would take care of other people before he'd take care of his own family.
Career comes first, and the family last.
He wasn't the dad that I think Janine had planned for him to be, that thought he would be.
Sorry, kid.
She thought he'd be more involved in the everyday aspects of their life.
Work took priority over virtually everything.
But Janine isn't the only one who harbors resentment. Jeff has his own gripes, too.
There's lasagna in the freezer.
You going out tonight? Again?
I told you.
He wanted to go somewhere that was okay with her. But if she wanted to go somewhere, that was a different story.
Psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser and forensic psychologist Brian Russell are concerned that social climbing takes priority over family.
On the surface, a marriage like Jeff and Janine's looks quite wonderful and that they have it all. But the fact that Jeff places such a huge importance on material things, on social climbing, on image, is actually really damaging for the relationship.
If you're chasing after more material stuff and it is cutting into time with each other, time to invest in your marriage, time to invest in your parenting, then I really start to question, are your priorities in the right place?
There is a good likelihood that Janine is feeling low on the priority list, that his priorities are other people instead of her. That could be bad for her self-esteem. It could make her be distant. It could make her create conflict in the relationship.
As the Glanda household becomes more toxic, Jeff turns to an easy solution.
My father would oftentimes have gin and tonic sitting in the car, drinking and driving. Working in the court system, he kind of felt like he was above the law, that he didn't have to follow the same rules that everybody else did.
And it's only a matter of time before those rules shatter to pieces.
There was telltale signs that there was something going on.
I don't want to be alone. I'm not meant to be alone.
Nine years into their marriage, Jeff and Janine Glanda seem to have created a perfect family life in the beautiful town of Lake Placid, New York. But what no one sees is the corrosive life they live behind closed doors.
They were very affectionate when they weren't fighting. They definitely loved each other to a degree. It was a love-hate almost. From my father's end, a very controlling love. From her end, a very hopeless, helpless love.
Gotta go.
I think all she wanted was the perfect picket white fence family with us, and that just wasn't happening.
Bye, kids.
While it seems Jeff doesn't have much time for his immediate family, he does make time for his mother.
Jeffrey did everything for his mother. He bought her cars. He paid for almost everything.
After his father dies, Jeff wants his mother to move closer to them, so they build her a cottage on the property. The Glanda's handyman, Nick Pecoraro, helps build it.
He was a man that was dearly loved by our family.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys.
Come and play.
No, I'm too tired to play. Just kidding.
He was the throw you over his shoulder,
Room for one more.
happy-go-lucky, strong man who, if you needed something, you could call on him.
He had that just general tough guy attitude that as a kid you admired.
But the living arrangement with Jeff's mother doesn't last.
My grandmother stayed there for roughly a year. The entire time that she was living in the home, she complained that she just missed being at her house. So she eventually moved back to Tupper Lake and left that house vacant.
As the marriage enters its 10th year, Jeff's career is more demanding than ever.
I'm almost done, and then you can look at the transcript.
Dealing with a full plate of court transcripts, he hires some help.
Sherry was Jeff's secretary. She typed up his dictations, and she was always around.
She's around so much that Janine wonders if she was hired for more than just her expert typing skills.
If I were to open a dictionary and go to the section of M and look up mistress, I would see a portrait of Sherry. You see the tall blonde with the slim body. That's who you idolize as the mistress, and that's who she was.
I'm gonna need to stretch my legs.
Trust me, those legs don't need stretching.
And soon, Janine's suspicions turn into heartbreaking reality.
There were lipstick stains on the shirt, smell of perfume, hearing rumors of him driving around with somebody else. There were some people that would call and hang up, and she'd call the number back and it would go to an answering machine of a female. Telltale signs that there was something going on.
You're up late. It's my secretary's, Janine.
Just be straight with me, Jeff.
You have a vivid imagination.
Just tell me the truth so we can deal with it.
I'm going to bed.
Tell me the truth, or...
Or what? What are you gonna do, Janine? You gonna leave? Good night.
She would say to me, I don't think I could ever leave him. The only way I could ever leave him is if there was somebody else. I don't want to be alone. I'm not meant to be alone.
When it came to marriage, my mother valued that very highly. So she was dead set that if she was going to marry somebody, that it was going to be a permanent thing.
Sometimes relationships can overcome affairs if both partners are willing to work on things. The problem in this marriage is that Jeff isn't willing to work on things. We've already learned that Jeff is controlling, he's uncompromising, he wants things his way. So unless he wakes up one morning and decides he's not gonna be with this other woman, then Janine is left with two choices: either put up with it or leave.
I actually think at this point, Janine really has three choices. Get divorced and assume that they're not gonna be able to recover the marriage. The other is to really try hard to get Jeff to come back around, drop Sherry, try to rekindle their romance. And then there's a third possibility, which is choosing to stay married and sort of have an amicable coexistence. It's not a romantic coexistence, not a sexual coexistence, but it is a resignation to the fact that we're going to stay under the same roof so that our kids have both of us here. We're going to have some semblance of family life.
A devastated Janine turns to friends for support, including an old teenage flame who's married too.
My mom had a friend named Randy.
Rough day?
Rough week. It's so nice to see a friendly face.
He was always very nice, very respectful, just a great guy.
Oh, long time.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
You too.
Finally, Janine gives Jeff an ultimatum.
It's me or her, that's what it comes down to.
I'm not gonna fire her, Janine.
Then there's nothing left to talk about.
My father made no attempt to replace Sherry. He had no intention of trying to find somebody else to fill her position.
The couple agrees that Janine should move into the empty cottage, just 200 yards from the main house.
Janine wanted the children to be close to their father.
I was deeply depressed about it.
I didn't view it as a negative thing. I mean, no kid wants their parents to be apart, but when you see your parents fighting constantly and you know it's not something that's working, then it's almost better to see them in their separate elements.
As time goes by, the Glandas learn to deal with their new routine. But the separation doesn't seem to benefit anyone.
He lived large, and even though he had a substantial income, it wasn't that substantial.
Even so, they hire Nick to help out with upgrading both houses.
They put in a new bathroom, they put in new kitchen cabinets. They did a lot of fixing up.
Jeff even refurbishes the basement apartment and finds the perfect tenant.
Hey, kids. There's some raspberry lemonade in the fridge.
We slowly saw Sherry move in. She began to move her stuff downstairs, and at first it was like the live-in secretary, and then it became more apparent that there was more than just secretarial job duties that were on board for her stay.
It's really nice to find you again.
Yeah.
And once again, Janine seeks comfort in the arms of her still married friend, Randy.
They would meet, have dinner, a few drinks, and occasionally meet and presumably have sexual relations.
I think it's gonna rain.
Looks like it. I don't mind it.
He gave her what she needed at the time. He made her feel beautiful again. He made her feel smart again.
Somehow, Jeff finds out. And to him, Janine's fling can't go unpunished.
My mother had a Barbie doll collection, the holiday Barbies. And someone had deliberately gone in and they had cut through the boxes. And at that time, I know my father had a spare garage door opener, so he was the only other person that could have done that. She was upset. It was more than just a malicious gesture at that point.
It just makes Janine more determined to go through with a divorce.
Carrie, I don't think I should wait anymore.
And perhaps a little paranoid.
Yeah, I found a lawyer.
I remember once her calling me and she was very upset because Jeff had just questioned her on something that she and I had just had a conversation about.
I just want to know where I stand.
I remember her saying, Carrie, are you telling people what I'm telling you? Are you repeating this? And I was like, no, I swear to God, I'm not telling anybody anything. It became a joke that, you know, he must have your house bugged, you know? Not ever really thinking it was true.
Yeah, no, you have my bank records. Done. Done and done. I sent you that 3 weeks ago.
Jeff had to be on top of everything. He had to know what Janine was doing and who she was talking to.
Fine.
While she wants to get divorced, Jeff is in no rush. In fact, a divorce settlement might ruin him.
He was in a very critical financial position. He was just teetering on bankruptcy.
My mother knew she had my father in the palm of her hand. When all is said and done, if they were to separate and the divorce was final, he would not come out on top.
Jeff does not just invade Janine's privacy. He invades her personal space.
Hey, Carrie. Have you seen Janine?
Randy and Janine were in Plattsburgh, and Jeff was looking for her.
She's not home. She hasn't been home for hours.
Family members realize that Jeff is desperate.
Well, if you see her, tell her I'm looking for her.
And they suspect he is drunk.
I said, oh my God, I think he's in her house. So then we called the police.
With Jeff losing control and his entire way of life on the brink, how far will he go to save it?
The state police officer pushed Janine out of the way and pulled his gun on him.
She turned as white as a ghost.
After Jeff Glanda refuses to end an affair with his secretary, his estranged wife, Janine, begins divorce proceedings and now finds an unwelcome guest in her new home.
When they turned the corner, Jeff is standing in the doorway in the dark in just his boxers, holding a glinting glass of gin.
I was looking for you.
This is my house, Jeff.
Well, I paid for it. I paid for you.
The state police officer pushed Janine out of the way and pulled his gun on him.
Don't tell me I can't see my own wife in my own house.
I'm not your wife anymore. And I'll be gone soon enough. You can have your precious house.
Janine noticed that over by the phone was a steak knife.
I want to hold you. I just want to spend one night. Just the two of us. I miss...
Get the hell out!
I miss us. I miss us so much. Stop pointing everything at me.
I have no proof to this or anything, but my feeling from that night was always I felt like he was going to rape her. Why is he in his boxers? Why is he drinking? Why is he in her house with the lights out?
It's not long before the family discovers why Jeff seems to know every detail about Janine's personal life, including her affair with Randy.
All set?
There was a time that my father was working at our kitchen and he had his tape recorder set up and he asked me to come over and started playing some of these sound bites. And what it was is recordings of my mother's phone calls.
He listens to every single phone call you make. He has hidden microphones in the house.
He knows exactly where you're going, who you're going to talk to, what your plans are. He knows everything. You could see the life just leave her face at that point. She turned as white as a ghost, like, this is why my life feels so tense.
Shaken, Janine goes to stay with her sister-in-law.
And she stayed there for, I think, 3 days. And we had long conversations. Don't go back. Don't do it. Stay here, for a while, find a place. And her response, as it always was he's the father of my kids. I don't want to take them far away from him.
I think that Jeff feels that he can play by one set of rules, and yet Janine has to play by a different set of rules. He's entitled to do things that he will not tolerate Janine doing. He can cheat, but Janine can't. He can trespass into Janine's house, but he'd be furious probably if she trespassed into his, and even the kids can see it.
Jeff's controlling behavior is beginning to escalate. And that's not what we would expect when a couple is separated. We would expect that he would detach himself and move on. He is bugging her phones, bugging the house, ruined her doll collection. All of these things are telling me that his anger at Janine is getting stronger and stronger. And it's also telling me that her living on the same property as him is a really bad idea.
We've seen Jeff get increasingly controlling throughout the story, and control's about fear. And so when you see somebody getting increasingly controlling, you've got to ask yourself, what's the fear? I think the fear was probably that at some point she's going to be done with this and she's going to file for divorce. And at that point, the finances are going to be cut in half, the facade's going to be gone. And for a narcissistic person, that facade is everything.
A few days later, the kids are at their dad's house, waiting for Janine to give them a ride to school.
Around 7 o'clock, I call up to her house. There's no answer. Call again, still no answer.
My mother's a very punctual person. She was always on time, always there for everything.
A missing persons report is filed, and police start to look for Janine. 24 hours later, as the family begins to panic, an ominous discovery is made.
Now we have a fellow named Kevin Reynolds who's driving to work. He stops at the top of the hill to urinate. And when he does, he spots the wallet, checkbook, and purse.
Police are notified.
Investigator Hickey hears that these items have been found in a bizarre location. He sees tire tracks into the water, and he calls for the divers who go and immediately find the vehicle.
My father had come home from the state trooper barracks, and he sat down in a chair between Jordan and I, and Sherry was at the end of the table. And he started crying, and he said, "Mommy's been in an accident, and she's in heaven now." And it was just such a surreal feeling of I didn't know what to do.
All I remember from that night is my brother sobbing. And that's when it really hit me that this is life. This is what's changed. You know, Mom's gone.
The state police immediately know there's something terribly wrong. Janine is in the wrong position. She's not in the driver's seat strapped in. She's not properly dressed.
She was in her nightgown, which was an indicator that something isn't right here.
And the state of the car itself is a giveaway.
Car was in neutral. That doesn't make sense either. So all of that is suspicious, and then her ID is laid out on top. Why the heck would her personal property be laid out that way?
Although the autopsy points to drowning as a likely cause of death, it also suggests Janine may have been unconscious before reaching the lake.
During the autopsy, the medical examiner had noticed certain marks, red marks in and around Janine's neck. Those were stun gun marks.
Beyond that, there's little to go on.
State police, of course, go to her last known address. She wasn't shot or stabbed. There's no blood. There's no evidence.
With all signs pointing to murder, the family's grief turns to despair.
My father was legitimately upset about what had happened. He expressed that he was just completely lost, that he had really lost somebody that he had genuinely cared about.
Despite the acrimony between the pair and Jeff's threatening behavior, his sorrow seems genuine.
Jeff said he certainly knew nothing about any homicide,
I was with my girlfriend.
hadn't seen his ex-wife, and that he was with his girlfriend, Sherry.
We were sitting around having a beer.
Jeff's alibi checks out, so investigators ask him to make a list of everyone who had visited the house in the past year. And there's one name that is conspicuous by its absence.
The real break in the case was Nick. The state police were watching Nick, and they were trying to put a little bit of pressure on him to let them know that they were looking at him. He was frightened, and that's when Nick bought a bus ticket and was trying to leave town, and the state police got that tip.
A tip that will lead to an astonishing confession.
Is he coming to talk to him, or is he coming to kill him?
Three weeks after Janine Glanda's suspicious death, state troopers intercept Nick Pecoraro on a bus, trying to flee town.
The investigators took him back to state police barracks.
During an 8-hour police interview, Nick tells an extraordinary story.
So it was in the springtime, and Jeff told me he wanted me to kill Janine. I didn't want to. I told him I'd think about it.
Nick claims that Jeff offers an incentive.
Jeff promised him a variety of things. He promised him a new pickup truck. He promised him firearms at one point. It always changed, and so now Nick is going along with it.
According to Nick, the two start making plans.
They're looking at culverts, they're looking at overpasses and bridges and trying to think of how they can get her and drive her off the road and then get away clean. And that plan doesn't make much sense. And then Jeff realizes, hey, wait a minute, freshwater drowning will get her to drive her car into the Cascades.
Cascade Lake is fresh water. That means it's identifiable.
He was the court reporter in a lawsuit involving a death by freshwater drowning. Freshwater drownings involve something called diatoms, which are these very small microscopic creatures that in freshwater drowning get into your bone marrow. Jeff was aware of that.
That Monday, he called and said tonight was the night.
Jeff knew that Janine had plans that night with her sister,
leaving the coast clear for their preparations.
You really need to do this?
Yeah. Haven't you heard of DNA?
I think so.
Well, now you have.
that man was hairy, and Jeff didn't want any physical evidence left at the scene. Jeff was very aware of the concept of forensic evidence from his work as a court reporter.
He told me to go through the yard and into Janine's house and hide.
Janine had gone home. She had gone into her bedroom, put on a nightgown.
Hello? Is anybody there? Nick?
And Nick attacked her in the living room.
I'm sorry. She was toppled over, light as a feather.
Stop! Stop! Stop!
And then Jeff came in, and he had this box, black box. I think she was unconscious after that.
What happens next makes police think this case could have had a very different outcome.
Get on top of her.
I looked at him and he pulled his shirt, and I saw he had a gun tucked in his pants. And he told me again,
get on top of her.
No!
Nick wasn't that type of guy.
I wouldn't do something like that.
The speculation was that if Nick had proceeded to try and have intercourse with Janine, that Jeff would have shot him and then said he came across Nick attacking her and shot him in the course of a burglary, robbery, rape.
So Jeff sticks to the original plan.
Go get the water. Hurry up.
His idea was to make it look like she had drowned in water from the lake. Very brutal. Then both of them attempted to dress Janine. They had pulled her jeans back onto her, but not gotten them above her hips.
The plan is for me to be in the car in the passenger seat with Janine when the car went into the water. More realistic that way, Jeff said, that the transmission could be in drive, and then I could swim out. But when I drove out there and I got there, I just, the cliff was too steep.
It's a 60-foot drop down to the water.
He then put it into neutral.
I'm sorry.
And pushed the car down with Janine in the passenger seat.
I just watched the car sink into the lake. And then I got in my pickup truck and I got out of there.
Meanwhile, Jeff is cleaning up the floor because there's water everywhere. Then he took her purse with her checkbook and wallet and laid them out on the bluff area, the bank.
Nick doesn't seem smart enough to me to really make a complex plot to frame Jeff. Nick sounds to me like a scared guy at this point, and it really seems like law enforcement played that perfectly to their advantage. Most of the time, law enforcement obviously wants to follow people in secret, so they don't know they're being followed, so they'll do things in front of law enforcement that they normally wouldn't do. In this case, they actually make it known to Nick that he's being followed and that he's under suspicion, expecting that at some point he'll crack.
When I look at how Jeff did such a great job at manipulating Nick, it tells me what I was suspecting about him all along, which is that he is a narcissist and a sociopath. One gift that they have, if you want to call it a gift, is ability to draw people in, manipulate them, and convince them. And so Nick really didn't have a chance in my mind. He didn't seem to be highly sophisticated. He was going to get something out of this in his mind that he really needed, which was some money and a new car. And Jeff was able to manipulate him completely and fully.
1 month after the murder, with Jeff firmly in their sights, police set a trap.
They took Nick and they brought him to a payphone.
Jeff, is that you? We need to meet. I'm scared. I can't wait much longer.
Jeff said he would come meet him. And then the question in the state police mind was, is he coming to talk to him or is he coming to kill him?
Get in the car.
Damn it, Nick! You ratted us out!
A high-speed pursuit ensued. A sergeant heard what was going on and blocked Jeff's ability to access his own home.
The police were concerned for Tyler and Jordan's safety. If he got back in that house, at the least he would use them as hostages.
That sergeant was injured and Jeff was taken into custody at the scene.
What I remember is getting a phone call in the middle of the night. Jeff has been in an accident and arrested, and I needed to come get the kids.
So a month and a day before we lost our mother, now it's looking like we're going to lose our father too.
With no blood or DNA evidence that links him to the crime, Jeff maintains his innocence.
He never confessed to the crime and denied his guilt throughout.
Could the police have the wrong man?
I'm writing to right a terrible wrong. I was with Janine that night.
The car had gone into the water accidentally.
Jeff Glanda is behind bars after Nick Pecoraro confesses to helping him kill his wife, Janine. Nick's story is convincing, until an anonymous letter is sent to a local TV news station.
I'm writing to right a terrible wrong. Jeff Glanda had nothing to do with the murder of his wife.
In that letter, Janine's boyfriend had been with Janine that night, and that the car had gone into the water accidentally after they had had a tryst in the parking area around Cascade Lake.
The car shifted into neutral on its own. I escaped, but I couldn't get Janine out of the car. We were having an affair. I stayed silent because I didn't want to destroy my family.
Could Nick's entire story be a lie? Has Jeff Glanda been framed?
Get in the car.
Jeff's own family clears up the mystery.
He had a sister who lived out of state, and he contacted her from the jail. And he gave her instructions to go to a local store and pay cash, and then burn the receipt, and buy a typewriter. She was supposed to mail the letter to the district attorney's office and to the local TV station. She felt guilty, and she then contacted law enforcement and confessed to what she had done. Jeff's one of the most violent and dangerous human beings I've ever prosecuted, and he's also intelligent and manipulative. He's a very, very dangerous man.
Nick's testimony reveals the full extent of Jeff's manipulation.
So?
I slept on it, just like you said, boss.
And?
Look, I'm not the right guy.
You're the man for the job, Nick. It's safe, it's easy, it's quick. You know, at the courthouse, I get to meet a lot of judges, a lot of cops.
Yeah, I know.
Those judges, they can make my life really easy. But they can also make things really hard for you. I know about your priors, Nick.
Nick had a very, very minor brush or two with the law. And basically what he did was he recruited Nick by saying he was going to throw him in jail. Nick is so unsophisticated, poorly educated, and not terribly intelligent that this was terrifying.
In fact, Nick wasn't Jeff's first choice of accomplice.
Donnie was a very interesting guy. Donnie had come forward to the police and explained to them that prior to the murder, Jeff had approached him and said, I want to make it look like a burglary robbery. I want you to break into her place, steal whatever you want, tear up the place, and kill her. Donnie said that he had basically told Jeff, go kill your own wife. I'm not going to help you. Get out.
As more witnesses come forward, police expose a sordid history of sexual violence.
When he was in his early 20s and beyond, he had been involved in sexual assaults during alcohol-fueled parties.
Police discover that Jeff had motive as well as opportunity.
A few weeks before the homicide, Jeff obtained $50,000 worth of life insurance with double indemnity for a single car accident, which would have brought it up to $100,000. It's a lot of money. It would have helped him tremendously with his financial distress.
I believe Jeff killed Janine because of greed. He did not want any of his money going to her. He didn't want his retirement, nothing, to go to her.
It also explains why Janine's ID documents were lying by the side of the road.
He needs that life insurance money. He needs her dead, and he needs her found.
Police find evidence that confirms Nick's story.
His clothing was recovered, the stun gun, the marks on her neck.
Jeff Glanda is convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. After pleading guilty to second-degree murder, Nick Pecoraro is sentenced to 20 years to life.
Nick's demeanor was really sweet and remorseful. He felt terrible about Janine's death. However, he did participate, and he participated willingly, which is why he was in fact guilty.
While I don't think that Nick is a highly sophisticated or intelligent person, He does appear to know the difference between right and wrong. And so to that end, I hold him completely responsible for his behavior. He knew what he was doing. He knew that it was wrong. He just wanted the benefits of what he was going to get for doing it.
Jeff seems to me like a guy who thought, as many sociopaths do, that he was smarter than everybody else, that he could pull off the perfect murder. He researched it enough to know about getting water from the lake in advance and trying to pour it into Janine's lungs so that they would find indicators there that she had died of drowning because of the water. The good thing about narcissists who commit crimes is they overestimate how smart they are when it comes to pulling off crimes.
Narcissistic sociopaths don't actually love people. They get into relationships that give them some sort of a gain. And no, I don't think he truly loved her ever.
I think Janine loved Jeff too long. She continued to love him even after he had shown in multiple ways what he was, who he was. And by the time she really saw it and really decided that she needed to get herself extricated from him, it was too late.
The selfishness of my father's acts will forever impact the remainder of my life, but he is my only father. I can't change that. I can't change the way that I feel about him.
To this day, I will tell anyone I unconditionally love my father. They will say he's a monster. They will say he's an awful human being, but he is my father, and he is the only father I will ever have.
Janine's absence is still felt every day.
The people that mattered and the people that knew her, she was it. She had it all. She was a beautiful person.
The hardest part, though, is that her kids grew up without her. She's a grandmother now. I can't imagine. You know, I hate that all that was taken away from her.